All right, peeps. How we all doing? How we all doing? How we all doing? How we all doing? Get a few people in the building. And we'll see how this goes. We'll see how long we do. We lot talk about. Talk about the fights the weekend. There was that MTK card on Friday with Lee McGregor getting the draw I want to talk about. Because I don't know if anyone's seen that fight. That was actually quite a good fight. So, give it a few minutes. Let the chat build up. Let people do its thing. And then we get talking. But obviously, main talking point is going to be about John Ryder versus Danny Jacobs and what happened in that fight. It's going to be interesting, man. I don't know, man. It was an interesting fight. It was a fight that early on it looked like Danny Jacobs was going to sail through that fight because he was picking up the early rounds for me. Was doing a good job as well. Keeping the distance, looked quite sharp. Ryder was able to get his way back into it, but for me, Danny Jacobs won the fight. And here's the thing, right? This is another bad look. This is another bad look for British boxing if you're trying to get fighters from America over. Because Danny Jacobs comes over there. Yeah, it was a competitive fight, but he doesn't get the decision. You had Ellie Scotney, and I thought she won her fight, to be fair, but still doesn't go the way of it always goes the home fighter, is what I'm saying. It always seems to go the way of the home fighter. And that's something I talked about back when AJ fought Usyk. The fact that if you look at some of these, like they say boxing is subjective and they say the scoring is subjective, and it is. How come we never see on any of these major shows, your Eddie Hearn shows, sometimes, and your Frank Warren shows to a lesser extent, how come we never see the decision going the way of the away fighter? It's always the home fighter. Give me one. I just wanted to fix that. That mic was sitting up real awkwardly, and it was going to get pulled off the table at some stage. That's why I wanted to make sure it was good. So let's have a chat. I want to know. It's 26 in the chat already. I want to know what you guys thought of last night. Oh yeah, but before I do it, big up the E Machine. Yeah, I seen that. I seen that. McGregor's been on form today, hasn't he? He's been saying some bizarre things as Conor McGregor. Yeah, I seen that. Have no fear. That's one of the major topics that we'll be talking about in review of the week. I did see it. Pretty bizarre. It stemmed from Fury posting a pic of Khabib with a United jersey, wasn't it? And then McGregor, I think, took offense to that or something like that. It's a bit of a weird one. But yeah, I did see it. And Fury clapping back, and big up to Devin every time. Big up to you, my man. Big up to G-Man and the guys. Yes, yes. Let's go right back to the start and go through some of these. You're going to hear that a bit in this, by the way. Just so you know, I still haven't been able to shake this cough yet. Big up to Ali Drew every time. Yes, G-Man. Shout out to Nicola Hopewell. Just signed with the British Boxing Board. Big things to come. Yeah, shout out to Nicola. She's been on here a few times. I'll get her on again at some stage to talk about that in their next upcoming fight, definitely. Big up to her every single time. Big up to E-Machine. Top of the morning, me fine fellow. Whereabouts are you, mate, if it's morning time? You in the States? And big up to DJ channel. And still 95% G-Man. Yeah, no, I'm pretty much back to normal. To be fair, it's just a bloody cough. It's just a cough, that's all. That's the thing that's so annoying as well. It's pretty much good to go apart from the cough. Yeah, big up to Liam Ashley, big up G-Man. Is it tonight at 7:30? I'll be having a watch of that. That's gonna be fun. We gotta. It's fun. It's fight week, man. It's fight week, so I'm looking forward to this. I've got my prediction video coming out probably Tuesday. Man, we're gonna have fun with this. I'm looking forward to this. This fight's gonna be fun. I just have a feeling this fight is gonna be fun. It's gonna kick off, and definitely, we're gonna try and do a live watch along for that. I might even try and do it. I want to get the lighting better up in the bedroom because I don't know if you can see that, but the lighting is pretty shit up here. And obviously I wouldn't be watching it on that because copyright and all that jazz. But the lighting's pretty shit up here. Like that light is on full blast, and yeah. So I might have to look at it because it looks better doing it up here with the camera pointing that way than it does. Because StreamYard, for some reason, when you're doing it like with a live watch along, it kind of tends to cock up a bit, and the quality's not as good. So we'll wait and see. I big up the Joe Stunner boxing every time. How are you, my man? Smashing over 200 subs now, man. How's you, man? Hope you've had it. Hope your weekend's been a good one. It's been quiet, mate. It's been quiet. Not done much. No, I've not done much. I'm heading away now the first week of March, so I won't be doing much till then. Felt it was a draw. Most you can see is a draw. Yeah, a few people I've seen say that they felt it was a draw. The majority did say, like from what I've seen, felt that Jacobs did enough to win. And I agree. I think Jacobs did do enough to win. Yeah, Ryder did have his moments of success in there, that of which I've no doubt. But in my opinion, it wasn't enough to win the fight. Most you can give is a draw. Yeah, a lot of people have been saying that as well. A big up to Limo as well. What's good? It's all good, man. It's all good. Could have gone either way. Where are we? Big up to Ben. It's hard to begrudge Ryder some good luck, but the truth is he didn't deserve that win last night. Do you know what, right? That's a good point that you make there. John Ryder has been someone who's been on the wrong end before, especially against Callum Smith. I felt that was a real unlucky one, you know. And it was the fact that they gave it to Callum Smith Wyatt, which was even worse because, like, they made it out as though he done absolutely jack all against Callum Smith, didn't they? Because I think they were all like 117, 111 cards. And most people I knew had John Ryder winning the fight, and they gave it to Smith by a wide margin. So if you go back and look at that fight on BoxRec without ever watching it, you'll think that Callum Smith ran away with that. And big up to Nick every time, G-Man in the whole chat. If you could, lads and lassies, 44 in the chat, smash the like button on the way in if you could. Really appreciate that. It was completely unprovoked. That's McGregor, though. I mean, that is Conor McGregor in a nutshell. I mean, did you ever see the video of him? Like, I seen Fury alluding to McGregor where he was talking about punching the old guy. Have you ever seen that video? It was, I think, 2019 during the summer. And I think they were in a bar. McGregor went to some old lad. Old lad didn't really acknowledge him. And the next thing, he just sucker punched him. I mean, McGregor is an absolute scumbag. He's an absolute scumbag. Like, McGregor's reputation here in Ireland, certainly over the last few years, has gone downhill. Now, I never liked the guy from the start, right? I don't begrudge him his success. You know, he's done well for himself, all that jazz. But there was something about him from the get-go that I just did not like him. It just did not sit right with me. A lot of people liked him because he was loud, he was Irish, and he was successful. But now, very few people I see give him a pass nowadays. The ones who do, I'm just going to say it. You can say I'm sounding a bit of a dick for saying this, but the guys who do, they are degenerates of the highest order. Seriously. The guys who don't know him, like, some people who give him a pass because they know him, but there's other people who just don't know him. They know all the crap he's done. And the worst thing is, right, I've seen a lot of them, when he attacked Khabib's bus, they were saying, oh, it's just to sell a fight, this, that, and the other. The minute Khabib tried to attack McGregor, ban him. You know, the double standards is just sick. Thank God Usyk fired AJ. If he hadn't have done that, they would have robbed him too. Make no doubt, if Alexander Usyk had done just enough to nick those rounds, instead of really going for it like he did and really putting it, and believe me, Usyk had more levels to go through in that fight. They would have. I mean, Howard Foster, he had it, 7-5 to Usyk. So if he could have found another 2 rounds to give AJ, he would have. Believe me. So, you know, it's the worst thing about the UK. Like, we're seeing it time and time again. We're either seeing close fights with really wide scorecards for the home fighter, 9 times out of 10, or we're just, like, there was 3 fights. Although the Fies Cash fight wasn't close in terms of who won the more rounds, it was close because of the knockdowns and point deductions. And you still end up with a fairly bizarre scorecard, the 95-98 one, or the 95-92 one. Big up to Mike. Big up, G-Man. Wouldn't call it a robbery, but at the same time, cannot see it any closer than 7-5 Jacobs. I think I had an 8-4 Jacobs. That was my scorecard at that time. I don't see how John Ryder won 7 rounds. Neither do I. Ryder's trainer were wearing the Matchroom sticker. From there, I knew Match would be more interested in Ryder. Yeah, they do. And you see that at times. They have their favorites. They definitely do. And yeah, look, for me, it's just at some stage, it's going to be a case of they're going to have to do something because you're going to struggle to get fighters over to the UK. You need to almost knock the guy out, or you need to school them big time in order to get a decision nowadays, it seems. Who would you like to see Ryder fight next? Well, he's given himself... it's a good question. Who would I like to see him fight next? I wouldn't be shocked if they try and do an all-British clash with Rocky Fielding. Maybe try and get it an eliminator for something with the anticipation of Canelo moving up. Canelo and Ryder ain't going to fight. I mean, I know Ryder said do it in Wembley Stadium. Canelo ain't going to fight Ryder. Not because Canelo's scared of John Ryder or anything like that. It's just he's got bigger fish to fry. So they might do something like that. Possibly, if Demetrius Andre ends up fighting Zach Parker, they might pop Ryder on the undercard and have him face the winner. You know, especially if Demetrius Andre wins. It's in a house fight. I big up to Mark every time. English judge gave it to Jacobs, blamed the US judge who scored it 2 points. I blame all of it, man. The judges who gave it to John Ryder, I'd like for them to explain their scorecard. That's what I'd like to do. I'd like for them to actually sit down and just explain how you arrive at that scorecard. 116, 111 Jacobs. Yeah, I had a 116, 112. And here's the thing. I actually picked Ryder to win as well. So this isn't me defending a prediction either. I picked them. I think I picked them by MD in the prediction league. Yeah, he should have got the decision, definitely. Yeah, it is. It is. But you're paying for the main event. I mean, I was looking at that card there the other day. You Fraser Clark making his pro debut, so he won't be in there with anyone really too good. I don't know who Natasha Jonas is fighting. You have Bradley Ray. Yeah, it's not an exactly. You really are paying for the main event. That's the one they're going to be paying for the most. That's the main one. There's nothing I like about McGregor, nor I. I don't particularly. Definitely not someone I like. I don't think so. He's from Crumlin, and I don't think he is anyway. No, he's definitely not. He's definitely not a gypsy. McGregor is one of them guys who will... Yeah, he will. I mean, you can tell that by him, that is literally Conor McGregor in a nutshell. That he's going to be one of them guys, mark my words, in about 10, 15 years' time, you're hearing stories about how good he was before he went broke. That's McGregor. He is just set up to fall down, basically. That is McGregor in a nutshell. And that's what's going to happen, mark my words. Mark my words, that's what's going to happen. It's just in him. He has that destructive personality. Like, I remember hearing stories about him. And the thing is, he has this notion of money gives him indemnity. You know, he can do what he likes. Because I remember hearing stories from a couple of farmers that this was in Luton, which is kind of it's kind of in the north side of Dublin. And there's a farmer there around the field. And McGregor and his team wanted to go quad biking in it. And the farmer just basically said, no, you're not going into my field quad biking. F off. And they were like, well, F you, we're doing it anyway. And the farmer was like, right, I'll just get my guns out. And that was that. They have literally they can't contemplate someone telling them, oh, this is my land, you can't do it. It's like, well, we're going to do it anyway. All right, well, I'll get me gun. That's literally what they were saying happened. And they left after that, but they weren't happy about it. Watched it twice, 115, 116. Yeah. Couldn't make a case for Ryder winning. Yep. I thought the 116, 112 is more close to what I had it. Yeah, if we could, lads, unless he's 57 in the chat now, appreciate that, peeps. If you could smash the like button, really appreciate it. 23 likes already, big up. If we can get to 40 or 50, I'll be happy. I'd be very happy. The only fight I want to see McGregor in is a 12 round against Paulie. That'd be still funny. That would say Paulie never lived. I don't know what happened in that spar, but whatever happened, Paulie never lived that down. I just feel it's similar to Brook. Yeah, the build-up of that would be funny as hell. The build-up to that would be hilarious. I'm actually surprised. That's one thing I am surprised at McGregor, that he never went down the road of boxing again. Not that he'd do anything useful in boxing, but I really did think that he would just go and try and get a Canelo fight or something like that just for the money. I was surprised. It'd be 5 years now in August that he fought Mayweather. And I'm surprised he didn't box again after that. I actually thought he would do it. Who you got? Can Brook versus or Shields Marshall? Well, for Can and Brook, you'll have to wait until the prediction video, because that's going to come out probably Tuesday. So you'll know then. But as for Shields Marshall, I mean, Savannah Marshall every day. She's definitely going to win that fight. I'd be very surprised if she doesn't. Very surprised. I feel people would pretend they don't want to see McGregor Paul. Once the fight builds up like Can, they'll tune in. No, I'd watch it. I'd watch it definitely. 100%. No, 100% I'd watch that fight. I think that I don't know. I think the personalities would clash real well in that. I think they clash real well. I think it'd be good fun. Can you not say the name about the countries? Away fighters need a KO. Can you not say the same about all the away? Oh, all right. I was wondering about that. I had to read that twice. Away fighters need to get a KO. For me, it just seems more prevalent in the UK. And yeah, like I remember Germany back in the day. I mean, Jesus Christ. Remember when Arthur Abraham was the guy over there in Germany? That was what it was known for. You couldn't do anything without, you had to knock everyone. You had to knock them out, and even then just to get a drawback over there. Jacobs maybe by 1. For someone who's supposedly a big cheese, he spends a lot of time having the shit. Yeah, he does. What is he? He's lost. He's only won 1 fight in what, the last, was it 5 years? Or 2 fights in the last 5 years? Crazy. In any sport. It's safe to say Jacobs is done. He doesn't have the firepower like before. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? You know, Danny Jacobs, I remember him being someone who would go in for the kill. You know, his speed, his punching power. Now he just seems to be very happy to just stay on the back foot, keep boxing, look for right hands. And it's I don't know. It did kind of strike me as strange how he just seemed to stop after about 7 rounds. I don't know if it was fatigue. I don't know what it was, but it was just so strange. So strange. Man, this cough is killing me, people. Big up again. So Wilder turning to drugs to see if he fights again. Yeah, I didn't see the ins and outs of that. I just kind of glanced at that article briefly. What is he doing? I actually thought it was a guru he was going to, or something like that, to let him know if he should fight on or not. I didn't read the ins and outs of it, but it seemed pretty strange. Oh man, it seemed pretty strange. Big up to Base the Kid, the hardcore casual. If you've not been, go over. What are we on? You think you were at episode 45 or something on the hardcore casual now? So big up to Base the Kid. I think you're at about, what, 150 or so subs? So man, keep it up. Keep up. He does a lot of good work to Base the Kid. You know, the hardcore casual does about 2 or 3 episodes of that a week. I enjoy them. They're about 20, 25 minutes. It's good work. Big up to Base the Kid every single time, man. What does it say about Calaplant's psychology when he asked Canelo during the fight if he's good for 21-0? What does it say about when he asked Canelo during the fight if he's good for 21-0? Maybe I'm reading that wrong. He's good for 21-0. Oh, I get you now. I get as if he's good. I was wondering. I was like, was it a 21 rounder or something? I get you now. Was he good? Yeah, that strikes me as someone who doesn't really, who needs a prove, needs someone to tell them that they're good. Yeah, I was wondering the way you worded that. I thought it was like, is he good? As in, is he good to go to rounds? No, I get you now. I get you now. I read that wrong. Well, he came on pretty well late on. He did, but he didn't do enough. Like, for example, the 10th and the, what other round was it? The 11th round. He did start to kind of come back more into it a bit, but at that stage, John Ryder got a bit more confidence and was already starting to stamp his seal in those rounds. Now, those rounds, I felt that he did still win it, as in Danny Jacobs did, but it was just too little too late. And I suppose as well, if you're talking about a close round away from home, you know, you need, God knows what's going to happen. Which route do you want Canelo to go down? PBC, fight Benavidez or Charlo, or DAZN, fight Bivol and GGG? Personally, I like the Benavidez fight the most. I'd also like to see the Bivol fight. I'll be honest, right? I seen Eddie Reynoso say that they haven't agreed on anything yet. Personally, I would like him to go down the PBC route. I like the Charlo fight, although I think Charlo won't beat Canelo. I think Canelo will win that fight. I'd still be intrigued to see the build-up for that fight. And that would do good numbers on pay-per-view. I mean, Canelo did very good numbers against Caleb Plant, but Charlo has done pay-per-views in the past. You know, he's one of the poster boys for PBC. So I like that fight. In terms of Benavidez, I mean, I really want to see that fight. I think that's a great fight. I think that fight could catch fire, Canelo versus Benavidez. In terms of Bivol stylistically is an interesting one. It's really, that's an interesting fight for me, Canelo versus Bivol. I'm really intrigued about that one. In terms of GGG, look, I'll take it for what it is. I think Chris Andre's analogy that he used in his video the other day about meeting the 40-year-old on holiday and then find her 20 years later, I think that's kind of pretty much sums it up. That literally sums up that fight. I take it for what it is. I know it's not going to be the fight like it was in 2017, 2018. And for that reason, that's why I'd rather see the two fights on PBC, because I like the Charlo fight, even though I think Charlo loses. I really like the Benavidez fight. That fight to me is going to be brilliant. That fight would catch fire so quick, man. Hatman said it was jet lag. Yeah, that actually wouldn't surprise me if it was, actually. And that would actually explain a lot as well. Happy boy, the prediction league came out. Gee, man, I think you steam up water with eucalyptus oil. Oh, I actually have some of that actually here. Eucalyptus oil helps with the flu. I pretty much got over the flu now, mate. It's just the cough is lingering. That's the only thing. I pretty much got over that. That's why I didn't do any videos this week. I felt like crap. So, yeah, I just said I'll take it easy and just do what I need to do. And then tomorrow I'll get back into the swing of things. But, yeah, I'm pretty much over it now. It's just the cough that just won't seem to go away. And once that goes, I'm good. I'm good. I'm pretty good for 21-0. Yeah, man, that's a crazy thing to ask. Am I good for 21-0? What? That's a good question. I don't know if that would do particularly good buys in the US. I don't know. That's an interesting one. That is an interesting one. I don't know if it would do particularly good buys in the US. In terms of the UK, I would say it would do quite well. Might even top 1 million. I'd say it would do quite well over here in the UK. Even if Dylan White doesn't go heavy promoting it, Tyson Fury and Dylan White, that just alone to me would sell. Most fans would buy that. And Fury has got a much bigger name now in the UK than he did the last time he fought here, which was, 4 years ago nearly. So that would do well. I believe anyway. I want him to go to the DAZN route as I'm subscribed to the DAZN and not PBC. Yeah, I get you. I mean, the DAZN. I was listening to an interview. I don't know if anyone's seen it with Frank Warren, and he was really tearing into the DAZN. He was saying that he wants them to release the number of subscribers they have in the UK because he doesn't think it's particularly high. I have to say, right, the show last night on the DAZN wasn't too bad. Like, the fights were fun and all, but I keep saying it and I'll say it again. The announcers, the press, you know, the interviewers, I just think it's extremely weak. Like, that Chris Lloyd guy, I don't know what it is about him, but I really don't like him as an interviewer. He does not do it for me. Laura Woods is all right. And even if she wasn't as good looking as she is, Laura Woods is a good host and interviewer. Costello could put an insomniac to sleep. Andy Lee is good. It just had these DAZN shows, I don't know what it is. They just have a weird feel to them. Like Gabe Rosado, to be fair, was good as a pundit. Conor Ben, I don't know why they have him as a pundit, but I don't know. This whole DAZN UK thing, for me, I complained a lot about the Sky team when they were on Sky, but it seemed a lot more presentable when it was on Sky than it is now. Now it kind of seems all over the shop. Like I was watching it last night and I was just thinking, this is a bit of a shit show in terms of like presenters and stuff like that. It just seemed all over the place. It was weird. I think Canelo would, I think Bivol would school Canelo. Is great, I know. I think he could beat most guys at 160, 165, or 175, but his feet and distance control would be too much. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I really do think that is going to be that Bivol fight. It just depends how Bivol can hold it down to stretch. Can he keep Canelo, guessing for 12 rounds? If Canelo can figure him out and get to him, maybe we'll see. But I could see that fight really being tricky for Canelo, really being tricky. Charlo only done, and it didn't sell. Really? Was the Derevchenko? No, he done it. Was the Derevchenko fight not on pay-per-view? And didn't he fight maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the Derevchenko fight wasn't on pay-per-view, or was it the Karabov fight that was on pay-per-view? Or was it either? So I know that it was one of them, wasn't it? I'm not too sure anyway, but really, if it didn't do over 100k, that's not exactly great. And Charlo, actually, did anyone see the news about Charlo? Funny enough, actually, what was he arrested or something for didn't he assault someone or something like that during the week? Can't see it this year. Where did it go after? That's a good question. Well, I would say Shields will probably move up. Or not Shields. Marshall will probably move up. And Shields, I mean, God knows. You need to drink several pints of Guinness for that cough. Yeah, I only really drink alcohol on occasions, mate. I don't just drink it, so I don't think I won't be reaching for the Guinness, put it like that. Not anytime soon, anyway. Yeah, I'm trying to mute the mic whenever there's a cough coming up, so it doesn't interfere with this. Like there. I think Canelo will exploit Benavidez's body big time. Yeah, man, he's going to absolutely light Benavidez's body up. And Benavidez is someone who he struggled with, missing weight in the past with ill discipline. So I can see that going. Oh boy, man, that fight though, but Benavidez's work rate, his size, man, that fight would be interesting. Did his own camera work as well? You need a bit more dead space in the ring. Anytime fighters move, they need to switch the camera. Yeah, they definitely need to improve. Like I gave them the benefit of the doubt at fight camp. Now they have improved from where they were a couple of years ago, but they definitely there's definitely improvements need to be made there. Yeah, that was Chris Lloyd. I don't know, just something about that guy just doesn't. I don't know, man. He's been with Matchroom for years. Like I think he was doing work at Matchroom UK prior to DAZN, and I just look that whole team. I don't know. There's just that team just doesn't do it for me. There is a good few. Like I would say, like Ade, although I know him, he is a good addition. He does do a good job interviewing. He does do a good job presenting. Laura Woods is good. Andy Lee is good. Who else is good on that team that I like? That's pretty much it, really. When I think about it now, that's pretty much it. They really did go for the safety first kind of marketing kind of thing, where it literally, he took a load of guys who were already on Sky and just said, right, here you go. Would have liked to, if they wanted to keep it with boxers, they could have got someone like Barry Jones on or someone like that, because I just don't. The standard they had on the MTK show on Friday of presenters was much better. You had Barry Jones. Kieran Conway was doing a bit of punditry, and he's actually not bad. I actually quite liked him on punditry. Once Fury beats up White, Joshua and DAZN is finished. Well, I think I wouldn't be surprised if Joshua stays fighting on Sky. He can do pay-per-views there. So I wouldn't say they'd be too worried in that regard. Who is Fury going to fight once White turns the... Yeah, it's this week, isn't it? It's this week it's due. It's the 19th. When is the 19th? Saturday. So after Saturday, we need to know if Dylan White signed the contract. Frank Warren was also stating that Fury signed his end, but Dylan White hadn't signed his end. And he said that there was talk between the two teams of changing the split, which Frank Warren said isn't happening. So from what Frank Warren is saying, they want the team White basically approached them and said, can we change the split? And Frank Warren was like, nope, it's staying as is. Sky will end UK DAZN experience, and the machine behind Sky News is too proven. I think Eddie Hearn is realizing that now. Excuse me. I do, because how much Sky were able to just promote the boxing, he doesn't have that now. You know, he's relying on these ticket sellers like Johnny Fisher. He's relying on people like Coogan and stuff like that to, get as much marketing out there basically for DAZN. Sky is polished. DAZN is very rough and seems amateurish, but Matchroom are in charge of every aspect rather than having a studio like BT or Sky behind them. Yeah, and here's the thing, right? Since Sky have gone their own way with Boxer, I found that Sky are a lot more. I found that Sky are a lot more watchable now than they used to be in terms of their boxing shows, anyway. And I do makes me wonder if Eddie Hearn was the guy behind a lot of the biasness and the BS that we've seen. Because you look at DAZN now and some of the Matchroom shows, it's just like watching Sky with different people there. They're saying the exact same things, whereas the Sky shows now seem a little bit. They were a bit biased towards Eubank, I'll admit that, in the Williams fight, but they definitely seem a lot more neutral than they used to be. Gee, what do you think about Ajo Fernandez? One sec there. Ajo Fernandez being AJ's trainer in the Usyk rematch. I mean, he was given good instructions in the mid rounds, and AJ had some good success there. That would be it. Yeah, I mean, I doubt he's going to do that. I think he'll have Ajo Fernandez there as maybe a right-hand man. Who was it? Was it Tony Sims who was saying that he thought AJ should have kept Rob McCracken, but actually just done Rob McCracken on its own instead of having Ajo Fernandez as part of the team. I think he said AJ had more success with just McCracken. I disagree, but each to their own. I want to know who AJ is going to announce as a new trainer. That's the thing I want to find out. Just think how Kovalev kept Canelo at bay with the jab, and that was a wash Kovalev. Yeah, I remember that. Canelo can pressure against Saunders because nothing was coming back, but consistent jabs, he struggles. Yeah, I remember that. I actually remember that well. Canelo was down, I think, on several people's scorecards. I think he was ahead on the actual fight scorecards, but I think he was down on several people's. McGregor, yeah, I seen that. Jesus, McGregor, some man. He is some man. I don't know where we having a go with Tyson Fury. Canelo always takes round off against guys who are active with the jab because it uses a lot of energy to come and slip forward and counter. They're all good points as well, actually. They're actually all very good points. It's going to be him against Bivol. That is going to be a fight that I'm going to be struggling to pick a winner in that one. I will probably, I will pick Canelo still, but I can easily see how Bivol can cause him a world of issues. A shout out to Unrivaled, big up to Mark every time. Appreciate the £5, man. Appreciate that. Thank you so much for that, man. Appreciate that. What's happened to Miss Pajama or Maya Jama? Has she left the zone? She's only, I think she's done. Well, I think she's leaving. I think she's leaving the zone. Yes, I think she's leaving the zone. So that's what is the crack where I didn't really. Maya Jama was kind of. I scratched my head about that one when Eddie Hearn announced her. Yeah, she's got a big following, but she hasn't a breeze about boxing. Hasn't a clue. And she's all right. She was there for people to look at. That was about it. Love your channel. Thanks for the work. Wolfman Wesley, big up to you, man. Good name, Wolfman Wesley. What a name. Yes, shout out to Love Boxing TV, John and Kaya every time. How are you guys keeping? Big up, G-Man. What's next for Jaron Ennis? It's time to go, but with who? Jaron Boots Ennis. Oh, man. Who would we put him in there with? He's ready for a crack at world level now, isn't he? He's ready for a crack at world level now. Let's see who's in there at welterweight, and hopefully who they'll put him in there with now, because he is looking tremendously talented, tremendously athletic. He's been fighting on a couple of PBC shows. Honestly, if they really wanted to, they could try Thurman. If they really wanted to go and see what they could do with Jaron Ennis, put him in there with Keith Thurman. I'd pick him over Keith Thurman now at this stage. I really would. Though Keith Thurman didn't look bad, I think that him against Keith Thurman, possibly. Him against, they might do Kabalaskas just to see if he can do a better job than Virgil Ortiz did. There's some good names there. Some very good names there. Maurice Hooker, I know he said he was injured. Maybe they'll wait and see about him. I think he win all them fights, but man, I think he's been talking about Crawford. Remember after his last fight, talking about Crawford. He needs to be very careful. If he, because I think Boots Ennis would take that fight. I think he'd take it, but he'd need to be on point. He does get hit a little bit, does Boots Ennis, and he needs to be wary of that. Like at top level against guys like that, you don't want to be getting hit. Look at the way Crawford is able to find right hands, how he's able to switch and find you with the left. If he's piecing you up, man. Custio Clayton. That's who he's fighting next. Okay. The Canadian guy, isn't it? The 19-1 Canadian guy. Any dates? Yeah, he had the draw with Lipinets. I remember that, actually. That fight with Lipinets, he was a bit unlucky, I felt, not to get the nod in that fight. The Marcus Colley. I remember that fight. All right, that'd be interesting. He was a bit unlucky now. He was unlucky not to get the nod against Lipinets, but we saw what Boots Ennis did to Lipinets. He took care of him, and that was impressive. Very impressive. If any UK promoter is going to get pushed out, it'll surely be Frank. Oh, yeah, I mean, Frank's on his last legs at this stage. Leaving Hearn and Shalom. Shalom was already UK number 2. Look at Sky February compared to BT. Nothing. Yeah, BT have hardly anything going. BT have hardly anything going. I see that's someone obviously wanted to hear my prediction for Amir Khan versus Kell Brook, because I said earlier on when someone asked me, I said, wait till Tuesday, I'll get a prediction video out there. But you gave me £9. You gave me £9, so I kind of have to do it now, don't I? Right. A big up for the £9 as well, Charles B. Big up to you, man. Well, you gave me £9, so I got to give a prediction now. All right. I think that this fight, I think we're going to see a stoppage. And I think what we're going to see is we're going to see both guys hitting the floor. I wouldn't be shocked if Amir Khan drops Kell Brook in the first 2 rounds when he's fresh and when he has a speed. Having said that, I also wouldn't be surprised if Amir Khan overexerts himself, maybe thinks he has Kell Brook hurt worse than he does, and ends up walking onto a shot himself. Having said that, and he says just after that, I can wait till Tuesday. I'll finish it off. I think that Kell Brook is going to get stopped by Amir Khan in this fight. I think Amir Khan's going to win this fight. I just don't trust Kell Brook's punch resistance. I know that's Rich saying you don't trust a different fighter's punch resistance against Amir Khan, who you can't trust his punch resistance at all. But I just think Kell Brook looked so easily hurt that someone like Amir Khan could just sting him. And here's the thing, even if Amir Khan doesn't finish Kell Brook early, I wonder how his powers of recovery are. Because could Kell Brook stay hurt for a while and give Amir Khan chances to, get Kell Brook late. I don't know. If this was in 2014-15, Kell Brook knockout mid-rounds, definitely. He would have walked Amir Khan onto something and he would have knocked him out in the mid-rounds, definitely. In the future, who's the better promoter? Ben Shalom, Frank Smith. Is there going to be a new rival? I don't see Frank Smith having the success of Eddie Hearn. I don't see it. I don't see Frank Smith. He doesn't come across it. Like Eddie Hearn has a certain charm to him that Frank Smith just doesn't. Frank Smith is very kind of corporate, kind of just very businessy kind of like. Hearn can be like that as well, but not to the extent. Like Frank Smith just doesn't seem to have the gift of the gab that Hearn has. And I don't think he'll be able to entice fighters. Whereas Ben Shalom seems to be not on Hearn's level of the gift of the gab, but he seems to really know what he's talking about, know what he's doing. So I'd say Ben Shalom out of them two will come out on top. He doesn't have charm, but he seems to know a little bit more, and I'd give him the benefit over Frank Smith. I'm not saying that Frank Smith could prove me wrong. He could come out and be fucking Mr. Charismatic. He could be signing fighters left, right, and center. I like what Ben Shalom is doing, is that he's getting a lot. Him and Probellum are getting a lot of these GB guys. Do you remember that was Eddie Hearn's big thing back a couple of years ago? He was a guy who was literally taking Team GB out of the amateurs and turning them pro. That was who Eddie Hearn was. Because but the majority of Rio 2016, they all turned over with Matchroom, didn't they? They pretty much all turned over with Matchroom. The majority of them did anyway. Some didn't. Some turned over with Frank and with the other crowd, MTK. But speaking of Probellum, they've actually got a card coming up now soon. They've got a few cards announced. And they actually don't do that. 1 sec. There we go. Yeah, they announced the Paul Butler versus Casemiro fight that is happening in the Echo Arena in April. Is that card any good? Rocky Fielding's on that card. Holy shit. Peter McGrill, Richard Schaefer, Probellum. Some of these Probellum cards don't be bad, guys. If you've ever seen any of them. I think that they were a bit jokey early on, because when they started them, they were promising all these fights. And then 49 likes, by the way. Can you get one more like? 103 in the chat. We can get one more like. I've got 50. I'll be a happy G. But let's have a look at some more of these. What is their next card coming out? There's a few in Dubai. Which is the card with... No, I think it's the next one. Where is the card with Progray? That's the card I can't get my head wrapped around. Yeah, it's this one. It's the one with Sonny Edwards, which is on Saturday the 19th. Holy mother of God, that is absolutely going to be... I still can't get my head wrapped around that fight. And why in God's name Regis Prograis is going in there with Tyrone McKenna. It makes no sense. Regis Prograis is a good fighter. He is way levels above him. Levels above him. Hearn is Matchroom is Mickey Duff. Frank Sanchez is Javisa Strawberry. Yeah, no, nobody forgives Frank Smith for what he's done. Yeah, I remember hearing about that. Jesus Christ. Frank Smith has enough charisma at the bag. Miss Eubank. Yeah, true that. Although Emily Eubank wouldn't be my type, but true that. He doing what he needed to do. He's got a nice girl on the side. 103 in the chat. How do you think GGG would do at 168 in this stage of his career? Do you actually think it will benefit him not to cut the weight at this age? It's a very good question. Triple G's been making middleweight his whole career. And he's turned pro, what was it, 2009, 2008? Maybe even earlier than that. So you're talking the best part of 15 years at one weight division. He's only ever fought over the middleweight limit a handful of times. Surely put it like this. He looked a little bit drained in the rematch, I think it was, for Canelo, which was 4 years ago. At that stage, I think Triple G at middleweight, maybe that would have been a good time to move up. Whereas now, I wonder, is he making it comfortably? Possibly, I don't know. At this stage, maybe moving up to 168 could help him. But at the end of the day, man, he's 40 in April. He's not had the easiest career. He's taken a lot of punishment. I don't know if that will help him in the long run. And against Canelo at 168, I just don't see anything other than Canelo beating Triple G and beating him bad. You know, this was the Triple G of 4 or 5 years ago. Again, we're in for another great fight. But I just don't think we have that anymore. I just don't think we have that. Probellum should link up with ITV, will be big for TV. After the shambolic return, it would get way better than Richard Poxton. Yeah, do you remember that? Jesus, he was the promoter for ITV, Richard Poxton, and yeah, they were not good shows. I'm surprised Probellum haven't actually signed with someone like ITV or someone like that. You know, make a lot of sense. Terrestrial TV, get your platform out there. I'm going to chuck this as a theory, and it's just a theory. Maybe they don't want to be, and I could be completely wrong with this, but maybe they just don't want any to be involved, with the Kinahan name, because we know that kind of Kinahan is involved with kind of all that on the MTK end. Program must be nervous watching those Jacobs cards. Nah, Progray is going to be absolutely fine. He is going to have no fit. He's going to absolutely light Tyrone McKenna up. Absolutely light him up. Shalom seems to be superior of Hearn diplomatically, making Brook can, Marshall Shields, Hearn himself admitted, bragging he take over America, made other promoters hate him. Yeah, like that right there, when he went into America bragging about that, like he really didn't do himself any favors with that. That was in my opinion, that was a big cock up on Eddie Hearn's part doing that. He rubbed a lot of people up the wrong way doing that, and I think that he should have went in with a bit more. He should have went in a bit more diplomatic in that regard, and just right, we're starting it from scratch. Let's see how we do in America, rather than coming in like that. He pissed a lot of people off doing that. A lot of people, and even when he was on DAZN and Canelo was signing with Golden Boy, he was speaking and saying, oh, you have to fight in DAZN to fight. You have to do this. I think De La Hoya even said, it's not your fighter. Shut up. Didn't say shut up, but he was speaking as though Canelo was his fighter. He was a Matchroom fighter. This was back when Canelo was still with Golden Boy. And I think he rubbed so many people the wrong way when he came into the States doing that. Can versus Brook Gloves Off is on Sky Main Event. I'm going to have to watch that when we finish up here. I'll definitely have to watch it when we finish up here. Drop the bollock, leaving Sky. He obviously wants the DAZN brand to succeed, and look, I hope it does, because I've said it once, I'll say it again. I prefer what they do in terms of you pay for just the boxing, and that's what I like, and I hope it succeeds. But maybe Eddie Hearn overestimated his own draw. Maybe he only I'm sure he realizes now how much of a help Sky were in terms of the marketing end, now that he doesn't have that, because he's having to just try and get these cards out there in whatever way he can in terms of the names and stuff like that, relying on big ticket sellers and stuff like that, relying on Coogan and people like that to spread that this fight's on this day, where before Sky run a couple of trailers for, like this card here, they would have ran a couple of trailers at the darts, they would have ran it at the football, and it would have had a lot more names on it. I remember when Eddie Hearn was on Sky Sports as well, this was an interesting one, was that his cards were always trending. They were always trending on Twitter. You don't see that now. Now, you very seldom see the DAZN card trend on Twitter. Whereas back when it was on the Sky days, it seemed like every other card was trending on Twitter at some stage. Even if it was a Lewis Ritson or someone like that, there was always someone talking about it, if you know what I mean. Whereas you don't really see that now. So I think he's realizing now it's not as easy without Sky back promoting you or managing the market, I should say. So yeah. Fucking hell. Big up to Jamie every single time. Punch Perfect Boxing. How are you, man? How are you? I hope you're well. Big up G-Man. Evening, everyone. Run up the likes. Yeah, man. Big up. I think we got them good. I think we've got over 60 now. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm pretty happy with that. How are you, man? I hope you're good. We've superseded Germany as the most corrupt country in boxing. That took some doing. I believe you me. No, I will never forget some of the cards over there in Germany and some of the absolute shenanigans that went on in some of them cards. Like, did anyone remember Robin Reed when he fought Sven Otgon? That was like, even to watch highlights of that makes your blood boil. That they could be just so overtly corrupt towards one fighter. And it was just, that would make your blood boil watching that fight. The dart is still on Sky, is Matchroom. Yeah, but I would imagine if Eddie Hearn and DAZN are still going strong, I think that deal is in place for another few years. If DAZN and Eddie Hearn are still working together, I think it's another 3 years. I think it's another 3 or 4 years. If they're still working together, come then DAZN and Eddie Hearn, darts will go to DAZN, I reckon. It's already on DAZN in the US. So the PDC is already on DAZN in the US. So I would say, if that is the case, if they're still working together, I wouldn't be surprised if Eddie Hearn takes that onto DAZN. And that would help. Obviously, darts isn't quite at the level of a football, but it's one of the bigger sports in the UK. I think that's fair to say. It does great numbers. And it's one of the bigger sports. So I'd say you draw a lot of fans to DAZN with that. He also had someone, Adam Smith, who's very experienced, but also had very successful sports package, but behind the scenes. They had some serious media firepower. Ex-Murdoch, yep. No, I think Eddie Hearn is really realising that now. And actually, that's a very good point. I'm close to cancelling it. Seems decent fights on Sky pay-per-view. Eddie Hearn needs to look at things. On his side. I do think he needs to get that presenter lineup changed. It's cringe. It's cringe. Like, Laura Woods is good, Ade is fine, Andy Lee is fine. Everything after that needs to change. Everything. He needs a clean sweep of everything, because I think that it's when you watch it, it just doesn't seem right. There's no charisma. You know, they're trying to sell Darren Barker and that guy Chris Lloyd as the dynamic duo. They have no chemistry. Like, literally, those two guys have no chemistry to speak of. But yet they persevere. They just flipping persevere. And it's like, why? Why? Why can't you get guys who actually, like, we want to listen to and want to see? But those two guys, literally, just the chemistry is just not there. Yeah, big up, man. Big up. They haven't done one yet, no. They've talked about doing it. Now, whether they do or not, I don't know, but we shall wait and see. 80 likes, man. I don't even know if I can stay much longer. I'm probably going to do another about 10 minutes or so. I don't want to be coughing every 2 seconds. People making fun of Adam Smith, but he genuinely loves boxing. To be fair, you can tell Adam Smith loves boxing. You can tell he actually does really love it. You can see that from years ago. You know, when he used to commentate on the American shows, like, if you ever watched the Sky commentary when Diego Corrales fought Castillo, Adam Smith, how animated he got. You could tell that Adam Smith is someone who loves boxing. You can tell that. I do think that he doesn't do himself any favors. You know, I remember when they were bringing up the price for the AJ cards, and he was constantly backtracking on why they did it. You know, that was going into the Pulev fight. And he was always trying to make an excuse and say, oh, well, we said we'd only do it for the big AJ fights. And I think Rob Tebbutt said, yeah, you said you don't do it for the big AJ fights. This isn't a big fight. Oh, it's a mandatory title defense. We consider it big. It's like, well, in that case, every fight's a big fight. Big up to Chris M. Every time. Face cash fight. Do you think the cards were okay? They were still a bit wide. Cash won the fight, yes, but the other guy done a lot more than the only rounds they gave him were the rounds he dropped Cash. He did do good things in some of the rounds. Like, the first round was kind of hitting the miss, could go either way. There were some rounds mid that you could argue that Madiev guy did maybe nick. I saw Chris Andre talking about that. But look, it's, you know what some of these are like. You like Lyden Barker? It's not any worse than Macklin, Nelson, or Smith. Do you know something about Johnny Nelson that I find interesting? Is that he's a terrible pundit, but if you actually see him as an interviewer, he's not bad. So, like, when he does them gloves are off, he's actually quite good. They really should keep him as more an interviewer as opposed to a pundit. He's actually not bad at that. Terrible pundit, horrible pundit. But as an interviewer, he's actually quite good. As a host as well, he's actually very good. He seems to really be, that seems to be more his element. You know, him at Gloves Are Off, I quite like them. He normally does very good at Gloves Are Off. He's done hosting for a couple of, like, well, I remember when my friend went to see George Foreman, he was saying he was the host for that and done a very good job hosting it as well. And I think Johnny Nelson, that's more what he's better at that than he is at the thing. The punditry. Yeah, the Gloves Are Off with him are quite good at winding up. Yeah. Johnny Nelson is good like that. Like, I mean, I know I give him a lot of stick, and I think I give him a lot more stick just because his punditry is way all over the place. But as an actual host, as the guy who does the Gloves Are Off, he is quite good. You know, the Gloves Are Off. Whenever I've seen it and Nelson's been there, I've never had to complain. Some of them haven't been fun in terms of the fighters might not have been brought the most out of one another, but that's not his fault. So yeah, no, Nelson there isn't bad. Yeah, big up to, I'll name this account later. Is Maya Jama still on DAZN? I think she's leaving. I think she's leaving DAZN, mate. I think she's leaving DAZN. Maya Jama. Maya Jama. What is Maya Jama famous for? She went out with Stormzy, but what is she actually? What did she actually ever do? Because I don't know. I literally never heard of her until she got this gig in DAZN. What did she actually do? She's a presenter, I know that, but how did she, like, what did she actually do? Like, I know Laura Woods did a lot of work for Sky before going on to TalkSport and stuff like that. I think Barker and Lloyd are okay, nothing special, but all right. I don't know. They just don't do it for me. I'm sorry I missed the chat. What's the common consensus about Ryder versus Jacobs? Did everyone else think it was a total robbery like me? Consensus in the chat, mate, is most people feel as though Jacobs won. But a lot of people have said it was close. Instagram, surely. Yeah. It's funny how people like to shit on DAZN. I think it's that we're shitting on DAZN, mate. I think it's the fact that, you know, I personally haven't felt like Eddie Hearn came with the moniker game changed, and I haven't felt like it's been changed yet. I think there's a lot he can do too. There's a lot of things he can do to change it, but I just don't think he's going to do it. I just don't think he's going to do it. I think Eddie Hearn is thinking safety first on everything. Thoughts on Johnny Fisher for the next 3 fight cards? I want to see him in low-profile fights, maybe on Spanish or US cards. It does strike me that he maybe is putting a bit too much pressure on himself. He's getting a couple of thousand fans there. So maybe. I know they're doing that now with Campbell Hatton. They're getting him out on smaller cards. He's out on... What card is he? He's because I see it on BoxRec. He's out on another card. Which one is it? It's a small card. I think it might be the Akali card. Just bear with me. I know they're getting him out on some smaller cards now as well. Which one is it? Yeah, he's out on the Akali card. So smaller card, probably down lower down the card. So that's better. That's what he needs. The kid needs that. She was one extra presenter. I had literally no idea who she did. I literally had no idea who the hell she was. I never even heard of her until DAZN. Fisher is what he is. Nice kid, big dude, needs a lot of work. Yeah. And there's no rush with him. So I don't think they should rush with him. But we'll see. I suspect at least part of Matchroom decided to join the zone. Yeah, possibly. Wonder if the collapse is a body blow to Hearn and his co-plans. I wonder if, because that's a good point, actually, because a lot of people, I remember that news about that BT Sport and DAZN merge was not long after Hearn went full-time with DAZN. I wonder if he thought that was part of it. I wonder if that was kind of what pushed them over the edge, knowing that they may have football and stuff like that coming, which will help to promote the boxing on top of that. And I wonder now it's not happening. Maybe if he is thinking, oh, Jesus, what's going to happen next? Ethan G, how do you think Eubank versus Junior would go? Catch weight, be a big fight. Can't see that. Eubank versus Junior. Junior who, me? Oh, Conor Ben. Oh, yeah. I was wondering when you said it, I was like, who the hell, Junior Macabu? Or I was wondering. Yeah, well, Eubank right now, Eubank Junior would take his head clean off, even if it was at a catch weight. The zone percentage could be worse. Yeah. I don't have much time for him myself, man. I don't have much time for him myself. Could be worse. Yeah, I suppose that's the way you look at it. It could be worse. It's not great, but it could be worse. Right, I've been going for a little over an hour. Lads, I'm going to call it here. Because I'm just going to take, I know I'm going to take a fit of coughing again sooner or later. But I'm going to call it here. Hope you all enjoyed the stream. We got a good hour. I'm going to go record some videos for tomorrow like that. I've got a WTF video planned for this week. Keep that one on the DL, who I'm going to talk about there. That one I'm looking forward to. We'll probably get that out midweek. Premier Khan prediction video, of course. And we'll just get the old weekly review out now after this. We'll get that out probably tomorrow morning at some stage. So for now, lads and lassies, going to leave you with that. I hope you all have a great evening. If you could, smash the like button on the way out. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the little stream. Sunday streams, 2 streams and 2 Sundays. Haven't done that in a while. People, I'll talk to you. Peace.